It's 7:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. The search continues for the driver of a car who allegedly failed to stop after a serious accident at Cams Wharf in June. A warrant has been issued for 27-year-old Joshua Ucic following the crash between a Toyota Camry and a motorbike on June 3 on Wild Duck Drive, in which well-known identity Trevor Fing lost an arm and a leg. Joanne Elliott from police headquarters says the car was found at a nearby property, but the driver had fled.
Police will be alleging that he failed to stop after the crash, and despite extensive searches to locate this man, he hasn't been found. Police are now appealing for information from the public in an attempt to locate him. Mr. Ucic is described as being of Caucasian appearance, 170 to 175 centimetres tall, with a thin build and brown hair, and it's understood he may now have a beard or a moustache.
A man who spent more than 30 years as a Newcastle primary school teacher has been charged with sexually abusing his stepdaughter. He was arrested on Wednesday night and faced court yesterday, where he was granted bail. The Herald reports it's claimed he may have committed more than 100 sex acts against the girl starting in June last year. He was charged with a similar offence in the 1990s but was later acquitted. The New South Wales Transport Minister says more details will be released soon on the interim bus service to operate in the Newcastle CBD once the rail line is cut on Boxing Day. Gladys Berejiklian says the timetable will be user-friendly.
We've already given out some details about the frequency of bus services, the type of buses that will be available, but from next week there will be a visual timetable that people can have access to and see specifically all those details, and we obviously have tried to make the timetable as customer-friendly as possible.
Premier Mike Baird says the Liberals are close to announcing who will stand in the seats of Newcastle, Charlestown and Maitland at the March state election. The opposition took aim at the government for failing to front up for the recent by-elections. Mike Baird says the government has a good story to tell, and he wants candidates who will passionately represent their community.
The infrastructure investment is significant, not just the urban renewal, but things like the Newcastle Inner City bypass, things like investment into the Hunter Hospital, significant investment the community has waited for a long time. So we believe we've got a very good story to tell. Obviously we need candidates to reflect the local community, passionate and determined to fight for their local communities, and we will be making those announcements shortly.
Shadow Minister for the Hunter Sonia Hornery has raised concerns about the availability of Opal cards in the region. The Opal card is promoted as a cheaper and more user-friendly option for public transport users, but its rollout in regional areas has caused headaches for some commuters. Sonia Hornery says the lack of retailers means some have to travel 2 or 3 suburbs to top up their card, adding to their travel costs.
You can't buy an Opal card in Maryland, in Fletcher, in Waratah West, in Elermore Vale. You can't buy an Opal card in Wallsend South nor Rankine Park. Even the people that live at Minmire Westie don't have access to an Opal card. And do you know that there's only one retailer for an Opal card in Maitland?
And a fisherman has captured video footage of the great white shark which calls Lake Macquarie home. Clinton Bamback was fishing off a popular wharf at Murray's Beach yesterday when he spotted the 2.5-metre long predator circling about 50 metres offshore before it came within a metre of him.
Wow. Oh, it's a great white. It's a great white. Yeah.
Audio there courtesy of the Herald. Now with sport, Cecilia Connell.
The Newcastle Jets will be hoping the support of a home crowd will help secure a much-needed win when they take on Wellington Phoenix tomorrow afternoon. The Kiwis' 3-man strike force have netted 12 goals this season, with the team coming off a 5-1 thumping over Melbourne City. Meanwhile, the pressure to bag a victory continues to mount for the Jets, with the A-League trading season now underway. Clubs are free to negotiate and sign players from rival teams once they've entered the final 6 months of their contracts. Western and eastern suburbs will be laying everything on the line when they meet tomorrow to stay in contention for the Maitland first-grade cricket premiership. Despite the age-old geographical rivalry, both teams currently sit outside the top 4 after the opening 2 months of competition. And former Newcastle Knights Mark Sargent and Rob Tew were honoured at last night's Members Club annual general meeting, becoming life members. That's sport. I'm Cecilia Connell.
To NURFM News Time, 26 to 8.